Hello and welcome to this introductory video on practical pediatric ventilation. My name's Yaya and I'm one of your consultant intensivists. So working on a pediatric intensive care unit can be quite daunting, especially if you've never worked on one before or you're not used to many of the machines that are available there, including of course ventilators, which this video series is about. So this is a series of short videos to help you ease you into the world of ventilation here at King's College Hospital. This particular video will just be introducing the ventilators that we have available and looking at the available resources that are already out there for learning. So at King's, we have quite a few ventilators. Fortunately, the predominant one is the Draeger V800 Infiniti. So this you'll find in all the bed spaces on PICU, and we have some spare as well in case we need more. It's a very nice ventilator, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it shortly. We do still have a couple of Draeger V500 Infinitis, and these are very similar to the V800s, both in form and function, but the workflow on the V800s is slightly better, but they effectively do the same thing. We also have Draeger Vita XLs. Those have gone into storage now, but I'm sure they'll make a comeback if necessary. And during the COVID-19 crisis, we also managed to get hold of some Servo ends, which would be very good for ventilating neonates and children under 10 kilos in weight. In addition to this, we have the Sensormedics high-frequency oscillators, as well as some other non-invasive ventilators. So the Infiniti V800 is the main ventilator on the unit. It is relatively simple to use and easier to set up than the other vents that have gone before it. So because of that, it's actually been well received, well liked. The vent was only released in January 2020, and we were one of the first units to take delivery of them. The interface is very user friendly and doesn't take long to get used to. It's actually capable of some quite advanced ventilatory modalities, some of which we do use and others which we've yet to get to, and there's a lot of on-screen help and online help for new and old users alike. The Infiniti V500 and XL are great ventilators. They're backup ventilators for us on the unit. We might see some use for the V500 during winter if it gets really busy, but the Vita XL probably won't come out unless there's a pandemic or a zombie apocalypse. If, however, you go across the hospital, and sometimes in pandemic times, sometimes you're asked to go to other units and you in the trust, or you might go to the Nightingale or to other hospitals, you will find these ventilators in use there. So it's good to get a general handle on them. So therefore, no knowledge that will be shared here that you gain will be wasted. We have 4 Servo end ventilators. Personally, I'm not hoping to use these, but they are available should the need arise. Many of you would have some experience of these on the neonatal units. They're actually very, very good ventilators, and they can both do conventional ventilation and they can do high frequency oscillation. So so I hope they don't come out, but if they do, I mean, they're doing an amazing job. Now, in addition to those standard vents that we have on the unit, we also have transport ventilators. At the moment, we have an Oxylog 3000. We're expecting the arrival of a Hamilton transport ventilator, which has slightly more modes and is slightly more advanced than the Oxylog 3000 that we currently use. So as and when that ventilator turns up, I might try and do some video training on that. And we have an array of non-invasive ventilators, some which we own, others are owned by patients, some we don't necessarily use in this hospital, but patients turn up with them. So that's always an entertaining time with the non-invasive vents. And we will try and provide some video training on these as well. Now, in addition to training that we can provide on the unit, there are other resources which you should avail yourself of. So if you go to the Draeger website, there's all manner of stuff there. There's a thing called the Draeger Academy, where you can actually do an online course which is completely free and provides a certificate. If you go to the Open Pediatrics website, you'll find all manner of resource in pediatrics, and that's general pediatrics, neonates, and of course intensive care, and there's a lot on ventilation there. There's a new alliance called the Ventilator Training Alliance, which sprung up during the COVID pandemic, and they have some nice training information, and of course there are lots and lots of other online sources, but the ones I've mentioned are the ones I've seen and tried and recommend. So for Draeger, obviously the majority of our ventilators are from Draeger, and you can download any of the brochures any time you like and get much deeper information on those vents should you require it. So it's an amazing resource. So in addition to downloading the brochures, there's a thing called the Draeger Academy, and basically there's an online course which you can do completely free of charge, which takes you through the basics of respiration and ventilation, and again I can highly recommend that. And then there's the Draeger. Okay, this is a screenshot from the Draeger Academy, and basically it's taken us through some of the objectives that they have, so you can see respiratory physiology, fundamentals of ventilation, and the like. So it's something you should try and do if you can find the time. Now, Open Pediatrics I mentioned earlier, and in addition to lots of resources, they have quite a lot of videos, some of them on pediatric ventilation, and actually they're quite good. You get a lot of current information on ventilation, which will help you now and in your career going forward. And not only do they have videos, but they also have this online sort of simulator where you can actually practice your ventilation and see what the loops look like when you change the inspiratory time or increase the pressure support and things like that. So it's something that you should log on to and try and get hold of. Now, the Ventilator Training Alliance is wonderful. It's a bunch of people that got together from this company, and what they did is they spoke to all the manufacturers of main ventilators, and got them to make little videos and put them all together in a single app. And you can get that app free on Google Play or the App Store, or you can actually view this training in any browser. So for us, I would suggest you download the app, you go look for ventilators, look for Draeger, and then you can see both. You can see the Infiniti V800, which we have, the Infiniti V500, which we also have, and the Ventilator XL, which we also, so the three vents that we have are all there. And what they do, they provide information and videos such as this one, where someone's actually talking through how to set up a ventilator for a patient that has just arrived. So this is really good information and good quality videos, which are readily available to you. Now, there are ventilator simulators for both the V500 and the Ventilator XL. Sadly, there isn't one for the V800 yet, and I think it's a bit too new. But the Ventilator XL simulator is really good. Basically, it takes you through the vent. You can do simulations of of children with asthma, children with ARDS, and you can go through the various ventilation strategies that you could try to use. Now, it's actually, this simulator's difficult to get hold of, but the V500's Ventilator Simulator is still available, and I'll show you where you can find it in a future video. So both these you should try and seek out and try and use, especially when you're bored with nothing to do during lockdown. So, as I said earlier, there's no simulator for the V800, so I will try and take you through this ventilator using photographic depiction and also video demonstrations. Now, that's not so easy because the pictures aren't so good, because you get reflection from the screen and all sorts of other sort of like optical artifacts, but I shall try and do my best to take you through how we use these ventilators on the unit. So that's all I have for you at this point in time. So in sum, we've looked at the ventilators we have on the unit, and we've also had a review of some of the credible available resources. The next video will be looking at the basic operation of the Infiniti V800. I hope you'll have time to watch it. Thank you very much.